All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. If you need a roof, make sure you call Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. They're the best in the business. Give us a call right now, 412-575-2600 on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Want to touch on Pitt real quick. Another player, Jared Wilson Frame, says he wants his release. He was granted. That's the 9th player, plus a couple recruits out there. And look, I don't blame these guys for asking for the release. They don't know who's coming in here. And to be honest with you, whatever coach does come in will probably bring some of his recruits. Maybe we'll get a couple guys to transfer to play with him. And he might not want all these guys. There's a handful of guys that a new coach might keep around. Jared Wilson Frame, he was the leading scorer. He's a leader, I guess, a veteran player, senior, whatever. I don't see him transferring. I think a lot of these guys will like the new head coach, especially if it's a guy like Danny Hurley. How could you not like this guy? His season is over, so the Danny Hurley watch is on. And I know that's Pitt's top target, but will he be a guy that wants to come into this situation? A lot of people, a lot of national people are speculating that this is maybe worse than the death penalty. What their situation is next year. They might win 0 games again in the ACC. So it might not be a great situation to come into, but whoever comes in here, it might think of it as a challenge. If they turn it around, they might be able to get any job that they want out there. Or maybe a Hurley feels like, or one of these guys have East Coast ties that they might think that they could build Pitt into a powerhouse again. So we'll see what happens, but Pitt has to find the right guy, and the right guy will be able to keep some of the key players that he wants and some of the players that will fit into his system. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to Matthew in Charleroi. How you doing, Matthew?
What's going on?
What's up, man?
Hey, not much. I just wanted to answer your question about Hurley. You might laugh at this, but I have very, very strong sources. Hurley has already inked a deal with UConn. He'll be introduced Monday morning.
Okay, that's good. That's a good source. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Pitt has Nevada's coach tapped as their top choice now. They wanted Hurley,
okay,
but I couldn't land him. Nevada's coach is the top choice now, running for Pitt. Strong sources, and you'll watch this unfold on Monday.
Well, hey, Matthew, thanks for the update. I appreciate that. That's big information here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Matthew from Charleroi breaking the news that Hurley's going to UConn. Appreciate it. Hurley is not inked a deal with UConn. Everyone is speculating that UConn might be the #1 choice, but you got to look at this situation. And I talked to Michael DeCourcy of the Sporting News the other day, and you would have to think Pitt is a better situation because they're in one of those big 6 conferences. UConn is not. UConn was a powerhouse at one point. They might be able to throw some money at Hurley, but I think Pitt could match some of that money. Hurley's making about $1 million right now. Pitt potentially could offer him $2.5 million. And you'd have to believe that Pitt needs to offer a coach that kind of money to rebuild this program and to turn around just the awful situation they're in right now. They're going to have to pay someone. They're going to have to bring in the right coach. They're going to have to make a splash, and they're going to have to pay for that. That's what they have to do. And maybe if they bring in a no-name guy, it could be trouble. Could be trouble because no one might go next year, and the apathy will continue. All right, back out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to Harry out in Elizabeth. How you doing, Harry? You got any inside information?
Yeah, how you
got
doing?
Any sources, Harry? What news are you going to break?
I was thinking about Ben Holland. What do you think about that?
I don't think that's no. I don't think that would be something that's realistic, to be honest with you.
And how about,
maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I mean, he potentially has a buyout, and I don't know. I don't see Ben Holland coming back to Pitt.
And how about if you just go down the ACC and go get a good assistant coach?
I think you need to. I think this is an Harry. This is an ACC program. Pitt wants to have a good basketball program. They got to go out and hire a guy with experience. I know Paul and I.
Yeah, but I'm just saying get a good assistant from one of them ACC programs.
I want.
I think to be a good assistant.
Well, okay, get a good. I understand what you're saying, Harry. I get it. I understand, but going out and getting an assistant that's maybe unqualified. For a job like this, you need to have some coaching. You need to have some head coaching experience, I think.
Yeah, I get it, too.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, this should be
I'll
a
see you
top-tier
later.
job.
Bye-bye.
I appreciate it, Harry. It should be a top-tier job. They're in the ACC. They were once a powerhouse program. They could be that again in a few years. They need to find the right guy. They need to go out and get someone, steal someone from another school, a guy like Danny Hurley. They need a guy with head coaching experience. If they don't get that, then I think there's going to be some major problems over at Pitt. All right, we got to go to a break. 412-566-00 is the number. Back in a couple minutes.